company, your product, and speak well about you to another person. That's what we're all going for. I think most business owners instinctively know, again, that that's the key to bringing people into your business. That developing that level of trust, that you've developed that level of trust with your first round of people, your first relationship, and spreading that through their networks to create that level of trust on an ongoing basis with other people. What's the downside of networking?
If there's been a bad experience.
Well, a bad experience, yeah. I mean, as a business owner, sometimes these things happen, and sometimes that can be a problem.
It's time consuming.
It's time consuming. And networking is primarily one-to-one. Today, I will have the joy of maybe meeting 10 or 15 of you. I won't get the chance probably to talk to each of you one-on-one in a way where it's going to let me know who you are and what you do and what your business does and how I might be able to help you, how you might be able to help me. You know, there's just not enough time in the day. So one-on-one networking has that limitation. Social media does not. Social media is one to thousands. Social media allows you to develop trusting, credible relationships with thousands of people at a time. Now, that may seem huge in scope, especially for people who are starting out as entrepreneurs, solo practitioners, and so on and so forth. But the fact is that social media allows you to step past that limitation on time and space, talk to people outside your geographic area, talk to people you've never met face to face, and talk to them thousands at a time. So I've got 6 ideas for how to use social media for your business that we're going to go into next. And these aren't tactical. These are big picture. Because I think that's a good place for people to start. If you haven't worked with social media before, it's really easy to get bogged down in, I don't know how to start a Twitter account and what the heck is the difference between Twitter and Facebook and so on and so forth. So what we're going to talk about today is strategy. We're going to talk about building the customer relationship through these media in 6 different ways. First one, how to grow your business through social media. Number 1, add value. And this is probably the number 1 credo for social media for your business. People are not participating in social media in order to be sold to. They're participating in social media because they want to connect with people, they want to learn something, they want to build a community, they want to have conversations. So the only way that you're going to get invited into people's social media space is to add value, to generate things that they're going to find important, relevant for what they're doing at this moment. The big revolution a couple years ago was blogging. People go out and they write big long articles, and that's how I got started in this deal. So that was the big starter, but there are lots of ways that you can do it. And so with each of these I have a case study. This is Best Buy's 12th Force. Has everybody seen the commercials with people speaking at the microphone into the sea of blue Best Buy t-shirts? Mm-hmm. Okay. For those of you who were paying close attention, you would recognize these were commercials specifically for this Twitter feed. Those commercials were driving consumers to the 12th Force Twitter feed where they can ask questions about technology 24 hours a day, and somebody will monitor it and reply to them with answers about products and solutions and specifications and so on and so forth to meet their needs. This is how Best Buy is adding value for their consumer. They're offering Twitter as a platform to help people learn about technology. You'll notice at the bottom of the presentation I have the URL. A little bit later I'll circulate a list if you want to get this presentation afterwards so you can have all the URLs and everything for reference. Just put yourself on the list and we'll do that. How to grow your business through social media. Number 2, create evangelists. One of the greatest things about social media is the possibility for people to share information with others. And so some companies are taking that and using it to help people who are really enthusiastic about their product to share that enthusiasm with others. Now, when I was putting this together, I had 2 case studies, and I ended up with GM because it was a Facebook example, and I wanted to try to give you guys a view of the various media. I'll tell you real quick about the other one, was Zappos. Is everybody familiar with Zappos, the online shoe and now whatever retailer? They're recently acquired by Amazon. And Zappos is huge into Twitter, and they actually put together a whole Twitter feed on their site, which feeds not only what they say on Twitter, but what everybody else says about them on Twitter. So you see big, long lists of people saying, I just bought the great, coolest shoes from Zappos, thank you so much for the excellent customer service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see pages of this stuff, of people who are so enthusiastic about Zappos as a company. GM has a Facebook fan page. And on GM's Facebook fan page, you see people who are members of the fan group are just sharing, you know, I got my new car, it's fantastic, thank you. And people who are enthusiastic about the brand can join this group, participate in this group, talk to other people who are just as enthusiastic about the brand. So it's a great way to reach out to your sort of core, the raving fans I was talking about. How to grow your business through social media, number 3, build a community. This example is actually from the Deada company. And I don't know if anybody in the room is a GTD or getting things done. Am I the only productivity geek in the world? Thank you, and I'm not alone. David Allen is an author and management consultant. His book is called Getting Things Done, and it is about more or less how to process all of the things that come into your world on a day-to-day basis so that you can stay on top of what you have to do. And so he has a book, and I'll get you in just a second. It's something that you can control, okay? You don't want to be too heavy-handed with it because people will respond to that, but at least you have the opportunity to get the positive aspects of what you're doing in your business as highly ranked on the Google charts as possible. So that when somebody does Google your business, they're going to find the pieces that you've put out there, the communities you're building, the positive commentary, before they find the trolls that are out there knocking you down just because it's fun. Does that make sense? Okay, go ahead.
To add to that comment, though, knowing what is being said negatively about your company or about your product or service could be, I mean, that's a tremendous value to the organization as well. If you don't know what is being said negatively about you, you can't fix it.
And that's a whole other presentation. I thought about putting a little bit of that in there. You know, there are tools that you can use, like Google Alerts, that sort of thing, to search on your company name that will send you anytime there's mentions of you out in the media. And if you're in a very visible place, and if you're doing these sorts of activities where you think that you might get some of that flack, it's certainly a good thing to keep an eye on what's going on out there, so that you can at least get out there and answer issues that might come up. And so that's part of the strategy too, is how to handle things that may not be as positive. Other comments right now? Okay. So what David Allen's group did is create a forum. And the forum allows for people to go and post questions, post ideas, tell people about how they're using the system. And again, it's getting those people who are really enthusiastic about your system or process or company or whatnot to interact, share tips, learn better how to utilize your company's services or products and so on and so forth. And then it's also for people who have questions about what it is that you offer, it's a great place for them to find those answers. How to grow your business through social media, number 4, deliver marketing their way.